let's keep going. Start to explore a little bit of the sanitarium. Another one of the touch screens. While many institutions lapsed into custodial care, Blackstone prided itself on following the principles of moral management established in the 1800s. Occupational therapy, recreation, religious events, and other activities that emulated life on the outside were designed to gradually enable the patient to return to normal society. Now here are the results of these ideas more evident than here in the dayroom, which became the focus of many patients' lives. Here they played games and worked on their crafts. Some of the craft circles became so skillful that in time they became known as quality producers of goods. The leatherworking group became particularly famous, and a Blackstone belt is still a prized possession. That shouldn't be now here, that should be nowhere. Occupational therapy was typically assigned along gender lines. The men worked in the fields or in the gardens. They did light manufacturing work and helped with the maintenance of the buildings and the hospital's mechanical equipment. Women typically worked as housekeepers, seamstresses, or in the kitchen. The kitchen that adjoins this room is not part of the museum exhibit area, as it is in active use for events held in the museum after hours. It is hoped that one of the other larger kitchens will be opened in Phase 2 of the museum's renovation, along with several of the patients' wards. See, that's a rather realistic, I'll talk about that later. Daily schedule. Establishing a regular daily routine was regarded as key to patients' recoveries because it created the framework in which they could begin to see themselves once again as normal people leading normal lives. Everyone arose at 6 o'clock. Inmates were required to make their own beds prior to breakfast. After breakfast, the doctors made their rounds, prescribing medicine or other treatments and activities. The remainder of the morning was given over to occupational therapy. The period after lunch was devoted to exercise, games, and other amusements. On most days, the evening meal was also followed by an organized entertainment, which usually took place here in this day room. Like I said, that's a rather realistic portrayal. In actual asylums such as this, the patients were encouraged to do jobs to
keep the
emulate real life.
Busy.
They really were their own communities.
This is a swivel knife used to slice leather. It is a myth that sharp objects had to be withheld from all patients. Some mental illnesses pose no threat to the patient or his fellow inmates.
A little bit of an irony
The
there.
awl was used by inmates working on leather crafts.
So it's at the same time kind of interesting that, you know,
Nasty
you would think,
weapons,
why are we
isn't it?
giving... You would think, why are we giving mental patients such tasks that they can't handle? But the truth is, they can handle these
It's
tasks.
old, but it looks serviceable.
Got the
A
knife.
thin punch like that was perfect for making holes in leather.
You know, you'd be surprised what, even though you stereotypically think that mental patients might not be able to handle, but people find ways, you know?
I've
done a lot of work.
like that was perfect for making holes in leather.
I've actually done a lot of work with inpatient populations, and it really is therapeutic to give them
The important thing was
tasks.
that they be too heavy for the... We encouraged the violent inmates to take up painting. No art ever came of it, but it seemed to help calm them down.
Which is why this game is so creepy to me.
Restful art is part of the therapeutic process.
Because it appears at the outset that
The inmates used to sit for hours at a time, just staring.
a a lot of what Malcolm Metcalf is prescribing is actually very effective, and has some research that backs that it's useful, and first accounts, that it's helpful and it's productive. But, as we'll soon learn, he took it a little too far. This game really does a lot to
inmates became quite skilled in metalwork, leather crafts, and wood carving. You may think these crafts trite, but they were very important to the patients. Basket weaving was quite popular, especially with the psychosurgery patients. It's bolted down, less dangerous that way. Actually, we did have to lock away some of the more destructive implements. A simple precaution. They seem to have changed the lock.
That's not good. I bet I can get in there.
I often worried about those exposed hinges, but none of the inmates ever thought of removing them.
Let's just use the awl here. Yep.
Looks like they cleaned it out.
Not entirely.
Not much good without a blade.
Take it anyway.
Not much good without a blade.
Anyway, I could go on, but I think I'll quiet down a little bit because I feel like I'm giving away a little too much. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag for those who aren't familiar with this. I feel like I'm intimately familiar with this because of my career choice, so I should probably shut up.
Doesn't feel cold at all. Doesn't budge.
The kitchen has its own set of circuits.
Jeez, looks like Thomas Edison built it himself.
Looks like there's a fuse out.
That can't be working.
Let's take that out.
Lucky the whole place didn't burn down.
Our menus were meticulously planned by trained dietitians. I suspect the patients didn't appreciate the effort we put into keeping them on a healthy diet. It hasn't been recharged in years. The fire department will crucify them at final inspection. It's worthless, Oliver. It's deader than I am.
I love a ghost that can mock and make fun of his own death. That's pretty rare. It's deader than I am.
These ovens could turn out over 1,000 meals a day. Cuts down on injuries, keeps people from slipping.
So cold and methodical.
Only women did the cooking. The men would use the pans as weapons.
And a little sexist.
The inmates did a surprising amount of the cooking. therapeutic and cost-effective at the same time. These ovens could... Did you know lobsters used to be so plentiful and cheap that railroad workers ate them 3 meals a day? They got so sick of them they went on strike for the right not to be fed lobsters.
I did not know that. And it's kind of funny, I actually don't like lobster at all. Which is pretty unique for, at least from what I've seen as an American. I don't like lobster. I like other seafood.
Supplies in there. I don't know what the new people plan to do.
I just can't stand lobster. Too bitter.
We ran off our own wells. Purest water you could ever imagine. I thought I taught you better than to waste water.
It's locked.
You'd be surprised at the edge you can put on a knife with one of these.
Ah. Well, why don't we do that? Bring up the knife. Sharpen it up.
There. Much sharper now.
I admit I had not heard the word strop before this game, and that helps me open the latch.
I wonder why they call them
wrench.
monkey wrenches. It's heavy.
Okay. Nothing else we need in there. I just
Nothing
love
else
the
in
graphics
there.
here.
I thought I
Really
taught you better
enjoying
than to waste.
I'm really enjoying looking back at these graphics again.
Soup was always a questionable meal. It had a good chance of ending up on the walls. Oh, leave it be, Oliver. Stop fidgeting about.
God, he's so cruel.
An essential tool for handling boiling lobsters.
We do need these. I'm pretty familiar with this game, so I'm gonna go relatively quickly. I know what
I wish I
items
had a
we
pair
need
like this for my grill.
and what we don't. I might go a little quick at times, so hopefully I'll get a chance to look at all the interesting stuff. But I kind of know what I'm doing.
We use these for making shish kebabs.
Long and sharp. These could hurt someone if you weren't careful.
This was just for spot cleaning. The automatic dishwashers are around behind the freezer.
Whenever I'm playing a game like this, I try to look at everything to give all my viewers the actual experience of the game. But at the same time, I feel pressure to try and get through the game as quickly as possible. So